Hello from Iceland to UK. Mistakes. I almost made another mistake again, just a moment ago. Welcome, Haines, to our Facebook Live with the Changemakers. I am so excited to be with you, my dear Nick, and with everyone on Facebook, and on this very, very important topic. Why do we keep making the same mistakes again and again? And again, exactly. So, how often, you know me, I've done a few mistakes in my life, and I think most of us have actually done that. But do we learn from it? So I am so excited to have one of my best friends in the whole world, Nick Haines, the CEO of Five Institute and one of the Changemakers, with me tonight, talking about that. Why do we keep making the same mistake again and again? Nick, welcome. Tell us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's a really big topic. It's a really big topic, why we keep just making the same mistake over and over again. And there must be something in my head today, because I've just been making mistakes left, right, and centre, but lots of those little mistakes, they don't really matter. So we're going to talk about what happens when we make the big mistakes over and over again. Now, you know me, I've prepared something. I like to have some slides, so I've got something prepared. I haven't told you that, but I've got it prepared. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at this whole thing about making mistakes over and over again. Now, tell me, Rúna.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
So good. Yeah, I can. I'm gonna turn our web camera off.
Okay. Okay. So I can't see who's on Facebook. So hello, everybody that's listening to this. Very good to see you. Rúna, just tell me which of our good people are on, and also if we get any questions about this. So we're going to be looking. That okay with you, Rúna?
Oh yeah, sounds perfect to me. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to look at is, why don't we learn from our mistakes? Why do we keep making our mistakes over and over again? Now, sometimes when we make mistakes, they're really big ones. They're really kind of big lessons. And if we don't learn from them, we have big problems. Lots of times we make little mistakes, the little lessons, but the little lessons can mount up. So it's really important that we learn from our lessons and we learn from our mistakes, and we also keep making mistakes. Now, because we have to make mistakes in order to learn from them. Now, this whole issue of why we don't learn from them is really, really complicated. And it's confusing, and we say, well, why do I keep doing this? Why do other people doing it? And so what we're going to do is we're going to try and make sense as to why we constantly keep making mistakes. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at using the 5 energies, which are a tremendous way to help us work out and understand complexity. And this whole subject is really complex. So we're going to use the energies to understand this whole subject of why we don't learn from our mistakes and why we keep making them over and over again. Now, this is based on you having a certain energy type. So certain energy types don't learn from their mistakes in certain ways. Now, if you don't know your energy type, you're still going to get an awful lot from this presentation, from this Facebook Live, this webinar. You can get a lot from it. But if you do ever want to find out what your energy is, then you can do it by going to thevitalitytest.com. It's completely free. And we will tell you, just with you answering some questions, we'll tell you what your dominant energies are. And therefore, when you understand what we're doing with this, you'll be able to see why you tend to not learn from your mistakes. Is that okay, Rúna? We're good with that?
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm going to actually share a link so people can take it afterwards.
Yeah, so it's completely free, and it's our gift for the world. And so what we're going to do is we're going to run through why each energy type makes different mistakes. But before that, we're just going to look at learning, and we're going to look at a really, really simple concept about learning. from our mistakes. And the first one is that in order to learn from your mistakes, you've got to look at the past. You've got to look at what you've done. Once you've looked at what you've done, you've got to, in this moment in time, you've got to process it. You've got to make sense of it. You've got to understand the past and make sense of it in the here and the now. And then the really important one, you've got to take that learning and move it into the future and apply it in the future. So you've got 3 places that it can go wrong. You might not be looking at the past properly. You might not be processing in the future, and you might not be processing in the present, and you might not be running it through into the future. So it can go wrong in a number of different places and a number of different styles based on your energy. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And like I say, we're going to be looking at all through each of the 5 energies. So we're going to look at each energy separately. Now remember, when you take the vitality test, or if you've already taken it, you'll have a blend of each of these 5 energies. Perhaps 1 or 2 will be more dominant. Okay? So you can see there's lots of different ways why we fail to learn based on our energy. But we're going to take one energy at a time. Okay. Water energy. Now, water energy, this is to do with how they look at the past. Now, water energy types, they love the past. They love history. They love all things ancient. So they'll very often be looking at the past all the time. This isn't a problem for them. When it comes to processing in the future, their big problem is they keep looking backwards. They're looking at the past all the time. So it gets to be really tough for them to be in the present and make sense of it in the present, because they're always saying, oh no, that was the past, and they don't tend to apply it to the present. Then their ability to move it into the future, that can also be a problem, because they're always running this what if question, and they start thinking that the past will repeat. So they say, okay, things won't change, I'm just going to make the same mistakes. And so they don't change their thinking. They don't move it into the future, because they're actually almost fixed on how they were in the past, and because the past is so important. Does that make sense, Rúna?
Yeah. Thank God I don't have much water in my profile.
No. I think if you don't have this energy, you don't have each of these energy, one of these energies we're talking about, you're thinking, but that's just stupid. Well, why wouldn't they move it into they just don't, because they tend to look at the past, and the past informs them as to how things are, and that kind of their history becomes their future. So they don't really learn, because they keep repeating their same history over and over again. Now, we're not just telling you this as information, we're also going to give you some solutions, and we're going to give you 3 solutions for each energy. Is that good, Rúna?
Yeah, and I'm actually I want to actually not make the mistake that I was just making right now when I said what I said, because I actually admire people with a lot of water energy, because I think they do have quite a lot of things that I don't have. So yeah, well, but I'm eager to know there's 3 solutions. Yeah.
So the first solution is using something I call conscious questions. Now, a conscious question is a question that you consciously decide to ask that will invoke your unconscious mind and your imagination to come up with an answer. So you ask a question that's useful because it gives you certain answers and it changes your thinking. So the conscious question we'd ask for this is, we'd ask, why is the past and why is now? Now that seems a strange question, because it's a bit about, well, why is the past and why is now? But what that does is it makes you put the past in the past and the now in the now. Can you see? It's quite clever. It kind of, this is the past and this is the now. So you start separating the 2 things out, because water energy types can get stuck in the past. They can't separate things out. The other question you can ask consciously is, what is the cost of holding on to these things or holding on to these ideas? What's the cost of doing that?
Yeah.
Once you start asking that question and put the past in the past and the now, and you start recognizing the cost, it starts to make you have a reason to move forward and change, to learn from your mistakes, because your mistakes aren't the past, they're now. And there is a cost to that. So, okay, that's the first one. The second one is a really strange one here, is if you have a lot of water energy, it's really important you rest and you get enough sleep. When you get tired, you start making not such good decisions. when we all get tired, we don't make good decisions, particularly water energy types. When they really get their reserves down, they get frightened, they get scared, they get stuck in the past. So it's really important. If you've taken the vitality test, you've got lots of water energy, get enough rest and sleep. And the third one is water energy types are really good at reflecting on what's going on. So just spend some time thinking, what really matters to you? What's truly important to you? And where do you want to be? And that starts moving you forward based on what matters to you. Okay? So that has this ability to shift water energy types from being stuck in the past and moving forward and applying their lessons rather than just assuming that the past is the past and that's the way it is. Mm-hmm. Okay? We good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Wood energy. You'll get this one, Rúna. You and me have got a lot of wood energy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
do we?
Looking at the past, what's the big thing here? Well, they're always actually thinking about the future. So wood energy types, their natural tendency is, future. They don't tend to look at the past that much. They tend to be way ahead of themselves, not even in the present, they're in the actual future. So to look at the past, you've got to really concentrate, haven't you? Can you get this one?
Yes.
Move on.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, I don't learn from my mistakes because I've moved on. Keep moving on. Build the bridge and get over it. Okay, so they don't tend to look at the past. Then, in terms of processing in the present, we can put our head in the sand, can't we? We can go, oh no, that's not me. I don't do this. I'm too busy. I've got this idea. Hey, you know what? That's the past. Now I've got. You just don't see it because you got your head in the sand. You're in a state of denial and. Wood energy types, we sometimes have a problem. We think we're always right. So it's interesting, really. You probably couldn't get that water energy one, but you're probably really getting this one.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
so that's the whole point. You tune into the ones that are based around your energy. So wood energy types, they can, in the present, just have their head in the sand. They're in a state of denial. They're in this particular place. Their ability to move it into the future also has a problem because they're blooming stubborn. And they say, well, that's not going to affect me. I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to do this and do. And it's this stubbornness, isn't it? Of, well, I'm not, no one's going to tell me what to do, which is compounded by the next problem. We're also rebels. Yep. So we rebel against ourselves. So we work out something that's really good for us and say, well, I'm not going to comply with that stubbornness. I'm going to be rebellious. So we become rebellious against our own learning. Mm-hmm. Recognize this one?
Yes. Yes.
And if anyone's listening to this on Facebook Live and they think they know they've got a lot of wood energy or they just recognize this, just put in, this is me.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Just say, this is me. Yeah, I'm in for that.
Let's look at some solutions because we want solutions. Yeah. Okay, conscious questions again. We're always going to have conscious questions. This is a great one. Why is my past important? Mm-hmm. And what is my past telling me? Now, if you take the time to ask this question, why is my past important? Then your unconscious mind, your imagination, and your very essence starts saying why your past is important. And it starts telling you what the lessons are. It starts telling you things. So it almost fulfills that second question. What is my past telling me? So really great questions. Why is my past important? And what is my past telling me? Ask those questions and you will get answers. Mm-hmm. The other one is accept advice and be grateful. Be grateful for the lessons and accept advice from other people. We can be slightly know-it-all. We think we've got it all worked out. The past, I'm not going to make that same mistake. And bang, we make the same mistake again. Yeah. Third one, take exercise and keep flexible. Wood energy types really struggle when they don't take enough exercise. They get really wound up, stuck, blocked. They get more stubborn. They get more uptight, more tense, and they get more fixated on what they believe to be right. And so therefore they'll stick at something way beyond what's sensible. But take lots of exercise, keep flexible, keep moving, laugh a lot. It'll really help everything moving along. So look at the past, be as adaptable as you can, listen to what's going on and apply it into the future. Really, really important. That makes sense to you, Rúna?
Yeah, it makes, and I resonate with that as having the wood and that I have in my profile.
Yeah, and these are simple solutions, but they're very practical and they absolutely work. Or what you could do is just ignore all of this and just keep making mistakes over and over again. Your choice. Oh, I sounded harsh there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it was a little bit like a wood.
Yeah, that was a bit of wood energy. Well, to help with you get on with it. We're now moving into fire energy. This is all loving. This is passionate and loving and kind and all emotional and all this stuff. So we're going all fiery and lovey. You okay with that, Rúna? All fiery and lovey.
Well, I have all the fire in me, so yes, of course, lovey. Yeah.
So fire energy types, looking at the past, well, a bit of a struggle because they're in the moment. That's the very nature of fire. Fire exists in that moment. It's there and it's gone. So the likelihood, unless you consciously decide to do it, that you're going to look in the past, doesn't really happen because you're in the moment. Yeah? You're just in that moment. In terms of processing in the present, in this moment, well, they're in the moment, so that's going to be good, isn't it? Well, not necessarily, because fire energy types are very emotional. They feel that they're not emotional as in weak or flippant in some way, but they feel things intensely. They feel emotions intensely. They feel what's going on. So sometimes if they were to look at the past and what's going on, oh, it's just a bit too painful. It's a bit too real. It's a bit too uncomfortable. So I'm not going to look backwards. I'm just going to keep moving forward and be in the present and just leave it like that. You get that, Rúna?
Yeah. Yep. I am.
Moving into the future, well, you can have some. You don't have to have all these problems. You know what? You can get over them. But a typical problem that fire energy types, which they're obviously often being praised for, is they're the eternal optimist. They go, it's never going to happen again. What could go wrong?
This time it's going to work.
This time it's going to be perfect. And you can say, combine that with some wood energy, with that stubbornness, and it's going to be for the eternal optimist. And so you don't think it's going to happen again, so you carry on. Makes it even worse. This is another one that fire energy types have, is they tend to have very short memories. Okay. Hey, who are you again? So they said, oh yeah, that happened to me before. Yeah. And did it happen before that? Yeah, it keeps on happening. Now I think about it, it keeps happening over and over again. So this is a typical fire energy thing. They're the eternal optimists and they forget what's gone wrong. So they don't fail. They just don't learn. They don't learn from the mistakes because they forget them. And yeah, it's never going to happen again. Nah. Should we have some solutions?
Yes, please.
Yeah, yes. We're going to give you some solutions.
I need them. Yeah.
Please. We need them. Here we are. Drum roll. Yeah. Got conscious questions. Okay, the first one is, and this is I love this one. Why can I handle this? Why am I okay? Okay, so what this does is this enables you to be able to look in the past by saying, look, why can I handle this? Why am I okay? Why can I deal with whatever it is I'm going to look at? And you ask the question, why can I handle this? And it's an assumptive statement. The statement says you can. Mm-hmm. And your unconscious mind just tells you why you can handle it. So it's a great one. It enables you to deal with all sorts of things, and particularly enables you to look at your past by saying, why can I handle this? Mm-hmm. The second one is having some sort of boundaries and control, some sort of rules. And the control and the rules will be perhaps that, you know what, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to spend time reflection. I'm going to look at the past. You know, you and I, we meditate. We're in a meditation group, aren't we, Rúna?
Yeah, yes.
And it really helps us having a rule to meditate and have these boundaries and control. So it could be your rule is you meditate each day, or your rule is you reflect on, the rule is you look back, the rule is you learn, whatever it is. Boundaries and rules of control are really good for fire. It's a bit like if you have fire and you have no control or edge around it, it just goes crazy. So it's really good.
Yeah.
The other one is this whole thing of pausing and trying to get someone that's full on fire, full on their flow and fully going for it, getting them to stop is really difficult, but it's absolutely essential. If you're going to learn, you've got to pause. That's the big secret of fire energy types. You've got to deal with your emotions, and you've got to pause and look at things and remember them. Do you like that, Rúna?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Really good ones.
Yeah.
Okay, earth energy.
Yeah.
Earth energy. This one, again, we look at the past. What's going on here? Well, Earth energy types, they have this eternal question of, do I understand? Am I understood? Do I understand? So they're always trying to look at the past. They're always trying to understand what's happened in the past. So this is their natural territory. There is no problem with them looking and trying to understand what's gone on. The problem is, though, processing in the future. As a result of looking at the past, they just have too much information. And they just go into I can't, I don't know what's going on. I've just got, it could be this, it could be this, it could be that, it could be, I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. So you don't learn from your mistakes because there's too much going on. Mm-hmm. And we know people with a lot of earth energy. I've got a lot, and I recognize I sometimes get in a muddle because there's too much information going on, so I can't really understand what was the essence of what went wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's often what went wrong was sometimes something very simple, and the lesson is sometimes very simple. But earth energy types can have too much information, and therefore they can't process it in the present. Then in terms of moving into the future, they can get a bit stuck with their habits and routines. So they might have learnt something, but they're stuck in their old habits. They're stuck in the old routines. So earth energy has this rhythm and routine to it. Like our planet has that. And earth energy types, they're great at rhythm and routines. It's why we employ them to do it. It's why they're really good. They stick at things. They're fantastic. But their habits and their rhythm routine, their routines can make them not learn enough for the future because they just carry on doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Solutions, great solutions here. Again, we're going to do conscious questions. Okay? Mm-hmm. Lovely question for earth energy types. Why is it good to change? And then there's this other one. Why is it important to look after me? Now, I put this one in because earth energy types are really not good at looking after themselves. Great at looking after other people, not good at looking after themselves. So why is it important to look after me starts telling them why it's important to look after them. Okay? And once you get that, you start making different decisions. You start making decisions about what's right for you, not what's just right for everybody else. Because that's another reason earth energy types don't do and change is because they might not think it suits other people as well if they change. Therefore, that's why they like their rhythm and routine. Next one is to practice active detachment. And what this is you become detached from how things will be, but you still take activity towards it. So you're cool whether it works out or it doesn't work out. You're not vested in it absolutely working out, but you work towards it working out. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. It's this, I'm detached, but I'm active. And it really, you've got a lot of earth energy. You can have this, so you'll get why it's so important that actually I'm going to let go of how I think things should be, detached from that, but I'm still going to stay active. Lots of people become detached and they become inactive. That doesn't work. Detachment and active really works. The next one, big thing for earth energy types, ask for help. Ask for it quickly. Really, really important, this one. Earth energy types, great at giving help and giving support, really bad at asking for it. Okay? Big tip here, ask help from someone who's struggled. Because if someone has struggled, they'll know everything about it. If someone is a natural and they do it easy, they'll be too quick for you if you've got a lot of earth energy. It's not because you're slow, it's just you want all the details. It's no good just saying, just do blah, blah, blah. Well, you've got to explain it all. So get someone that's struggled or someone else with a lot of earth energy and they'll explain it really well and ask for help. And ask for help as soon as you think you need it, not 20 years down the road. Okay.
And it's not exactly good to ask someone with a lot of fire and wood for help because they are so quick.
Yes, yeah, they're the people you absolutely shouldn't. Yeah. Ideal, a lot of earth energy, a lot of water energy, because they're really reflected about it, thought about it. A lot of earth energy, their eternal question is, do I understand and am I understood? So they're great teachers, great teachers. Last energy, we're on the last energy here. Okay, so metal energy. Looking at the past can be difficult. You can see every single energy has a challenge in terms of looking at the past, apart from water types, because their problem is not looking at the past. So, but metal energy types, they have an emotional thing often going on about loss and detachment and disconnection. They can really struggle if there has been a loss. So if what they've got to look at involves any sort of loss, it's really, really hard for them to go there. So they don't. They disconnect from it. Mm-hmm. In terms of processing in the present, their challenge is they're really efficient and they're fast. So actually, they don't really think about it in the same way as the earth energy type is going over and chewing it over and over and over. The metal energy, they're going bam, bam. They're so efficient and so fast with the processing. Actually, they often haven't worked out what's gone on because they've actually just gone, no, yep, got that, bang. No, you say, no, I don't think you have got it. Yeah, I've got it. And you really question them, and they haven't got the essence of what's happened because they're so fast and they're so efficient. They process things. They move through that phase so quickly. They also are brilliant, utterly brilliant at detaching emotionally from a situation. And that's what makes them brilliant in certain circumstances. But their ability to detach emotionally sometimes mean they don't really get what's going on for other people unless they consciously decide to do that. Their ability to move this lesson, move this learning into the future, their big problem is that they are perfectionists, and that's why we love them. The things that they produce are exquisitely beautiful and perfect. Mm-hmm. But they can be running this thing of, oh, it's not good enough, I'm not good enough, it's not good enough, the quality isn't. So they don't kind of move things, they don't move their learning into the future because they're almost paralyzed by a previous mistake. So they can't apply it in the future because what if it's, so as soon as they focus on the mistake, they're thinking, I can't do that again because I'll make the same mistake again. Mm-hmm. So typical one, solutions, we're going to have those. Mm-hmm. So conscious question, what am I missing? And why is it important to look at this? Okay. What this does is metal energy types, they're brilliant at working out what's missing. So if they ask that question, what am I missing? It's a much better question for them than what should I learn from this? Won't float their boat. What am I missing here? And why is it important for me to look at this? Wow, they love that question. And it gets them to realize what are they missing and why is it important for them to look at it? It gets them to engage with it in their brilliant analytical way. Metal energy types, really important to get good lungs, good breathing, and literally breathe in and feel the emotion. You feel the emotion, you get a much deeper, more profound learning. And therefore, as a result of that learning, you're far more likely to run it into the future. And the third one, speak with others, particularly if you're trying to assess whether or not it's good enough. Other people will tell you whether it's good enough. Just got to ask them. Don't rely on your judgment otherwise you just get stuck in this more and more perfect thing and particularly if you made a mistake, you can't look at it and then you keep running into the future. So speak with others. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we've been through each energy and a speedy go through each energy. If you want to know any more about this, then we've got a Facebook group. You can ask questions there. So we're really happy to help and ask questions there. Or Rúna, she's really expert in this as well. Ask Rúna as well. So we looked at the energies. And we're just going to leave you with three top tips. So this is regardless of wherever energy you are, just 3 top tips. The first one is know what your energy type is. If you know your energy type, you can use that wisdom. That's the first top tip. Find out your energy, and then you can use that wisdom. The second thing is slow things down. If you slow things down, you're more likely to spot and learn, okay? Most energy types tend to rush through one stage or other, either not looking at the past, not processing in the present, or not applying it to the future. And the third one is don't beat yourself. Don't beat up earlier versions of yourself. Be grateful. One of the big things that happen is when we make a mistake, we can go back to an earlier version of ourselves and beat them up with what we know now. Just be grateful for the lesson you learnt And that will really help you apply it to the future. Whereas if you just beat yourself up, you won't want to think about the mistake. You won't want to think about what you did. Because each time you think about it, you're not really thinking about it, you're just beating yourself up. So don't beat yourself up, and that will allow you to learn it in a very deep and profound way. And be grateful for the lesson. Okay, that was a whistle-stop tour, wasn't it, Rúna?
Oh, it was, exactly.
There we go. There we go.
There you are.
I'm here. Ta-da.
And you said that you were nothing but wood, fire, and earth, and you do these things.
We do these things. We do
these things. Exactly.
Who knows? Okay.
I had to.
We had to do it.
Thank you, Nick, so much. I can see that people are sharing the video live. Thanks for all the shares. That's beautiful to look at that, and keep sharing and sharing the love. I say, because I have all the fire in me.
Yeah. And we've had fun with this. We've kind of whizzed through it. We've played around a bit. But, this is serious stuff, isn't it?
It is.
If we can learn, if we can really grasp what it is that we've been given as our lessons, and we can learn that and we can apply that into the future, you know what? We really change the world, and that's what we're about, isn't it? Really making a big difference. So grasping, even if you grasp just 10% of this, you'll take the vitality test or approach one of us and just grasp why you're not learning. And the bigger the lesson you got, sometimes the harder it is to truly engage with it. So
true.
Really important. This is a big subject for making a big difference in this world.
And that's what we are all about, the change makers. We are here to help other leaders to catapult and the change that they want to see in their world. Yeah. Because we know that if you want to make a difference, you need someone to hold you back. And that's where we come in.
Yeah, right. And non-judgmental, we hold people back. And this presentation wasn't designed to make you feel rubbish about, it's just to give you a heads up that those are the types of things you're likely to do. And when we saw our energy type, Rúna, we thought, oh God, I do that. And it's not
that all the time.
Because we just got to watch out for it. Just got to watch out for the stubbornness or in the moment or the eternal optimist or I forgot about that. Damn.
Yeah.
Keep it down.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And that's something that you can see in yourself, and you can, the whole thing about being aware. And I think myself, as I've been using the vitality test with my clients worldwide, and both as it for individuals and as well, how does the group look like? And how does the vitality in the group look like? Which I think it's really a huge part of discovering their X factor as a group, and how do they function, and what's the weakest link and what's their strongest link, and who is the strongest link and the weakest link, and so forth and so forth. I just think this is just such a beautiful tool that I'm a huge fan of, and I really do want to empathize that you do go and take the test. Doesn't cost you a thing, but you will learn a lot about you, who you are, and how you function, and how you can do that.
Because you're absolutely right. You get a group has a dominant energy in that group, and the group collectively makes the same mistake over and over again.
Yeah.
So if you know the group is full of fire energy types, then you might be slightly optimistic about how things are going to work out this time. And same with a lot of water energy. Oh no, we can't do this because it happened. We can't do this new thing because look what happened last time. Well, what did you learn from last time? That it all went wrong. No, what did you learn? That it went wrong. No, you didn't learn that it went wrong. You learned, you can't do it because it all went wrong. But why did it learn wrong? Did it go wrong? Etc. So, it's really, really, really important stuff. Okay.
It is. I see that we're coming to our end. I know you and I think we probably can go on this topic forever.
We are.
And exactly. We are going to make this cut it now. But
Okay.
However, I do want to emphasize to people that both go to the link that I shared to go to the vitality test and take the test. I also like for those who want to follow up on what the Changemaker are doing and becoming becoming a changemaker yourself, and go to runamagnus.com. And right now, you can sign up for being notified when we start the whole process, which is going to be later this year. So on that note, I like to thank everyone who joined us from Facebook Live, and say from here in the darkness in Iceland, I'm going to say bless. And you, Nick, you're in England.
Absolutely.
What do you?
Bless
too. You say bless too.
Bless too.
Bless too. Okay, that's the new way to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Bless too.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bless.